Good day. Welcome to Trinity Heights United Methodist Church here in Newton, Kansas. I'm Kent Little, pastor here. It's good to have you join me for Midweek Musings here at the church. It's always good to have you join me live and in person, or if you run across this video later, either on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. And welcome for those of you who show up a little later. Anyway, it's good to have you. So lots of things going on at the church today and this week and the coming weeks. I'm just back fresh from vacation. Well, I guess I was back last Wednesday too. But anyway, Trudy and I turned 66 this year. And so we decided it might be fun to go down and pick up Route 66, the historic Route 66, and drive out to the Grand Canyon and back. And so that's what we did. The one thing I learned, which I guess it should have been obvious to me, several people have pointed out, there's a couple of movies that point that out. But anyway, I was looking forward to driving quite a while on historic Route 66. Unfortunately, there's not much of Route 66 that still exists. There were a few places where there was a sign that directed us, to historic Route 66. We could get off of I-40, and we did that a couple times and actually drove on Route 66. But anyway, for the most part, I-40 has replaced it. And so anyway, but it was a lot of fun. We stayed in Winslow, Arizona, and went down and stood on the corner. Like the Eagles song says, we visited Antelope Canyons, the Grand Canyon, Sedona, etc., etc. Anyway, had a great trip, had a good time to be gone and experience all of that. So this week's a pretty normal fall week here. This is Wednesday, so this evening, starting at 4:30 is my book study class. We are, I think I've mentioned, we're studying Barbara Brown Taylor's book, Holy Envy, Finding Faith, Finding God in the Faith of Others, or something like that. I forget exactly what the subtitle is. Anyway, so we're working through that book. It's very interesting and informative and educational. So, and each chapter deals with a different religious tradition. And so, if that sounds interesting to you and you haven't been here for the first couple of chapters, each chapter kind of stands on its own to some degree. So if you haven't been here but that sounds interesting, please come. You didn't have to start with us to finish with us. So invite you to be a part of that at 4:30 on Wednesdays here at the church. And then at 5:30 we have our Welcome on Wednesday meal. Stephanie always fixes wonderful food. I think today we're having, this evening, I think we're having enchiladas. I've had them before from Stephanie. They are excellent. So join us for dinner, and then there's a time for children's programming if we have any kids show up. And then, of course, bell choir and choir practice. So anyway, lots of things going on Wednesday as usual. My coffee with Kent at the 1887 Cafe on the Bethel campus. I won't be able to be there tomorrow, and many of you may not either. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock is the celebration of life, the funeral service for Ed Stahl, who passed away this past week. And so I will be, of course, involved in that. So I won't be at coffee tomorrow, but if there are those of you who frequent that and still, I don't have to be there for you to have a cup of coffee and visit with each other. So anyway, if you're not going to be at the funeral, certainly still go to coffee. And then Sunday, of course, Sunday morning worship at 10. Sunday school after the fact at 11:15. And then Sunday evening is our all-church, I can't remember what we call it. We're going out to the lake, out to the sand pit to just hang out, play in the sand, maybe float on the lake in a kayak or in a paddle boat. You can bring your fishing pole if you want. I think we're having cake and ice cream, so that'll be worth the trip. Anyway, so that'll be a fun outing for us. And then I might point out as well, a week from Sunday on October 19th, we are having the Blessing of the Animals service. I understand it's been some time since we've done that here at Trinity. I did it last year here at Trinity Heights in the late afternoon on Sunday, and we didn't have it during worship. We're having it during worship this time. And so bring your favorite furry friend or scaly friend or whatever friend, pet, companion, etc. In my many years of blessing the animals, I've blessed everything. Of course, dogs and cats. I've blessed chickens and snakes and hedgehogs and lizards and anyway. So it's always. I think it's not only a fun time, a fun service, but for me it's very meaningful to acknowledge all of God's creation and creatures. I think maybe it was Meister Eckhart. I forget now exactly who to cite this with, but who said that every living thing is a word of God, and I've always liked that sentiment and that thought. And so I think it's important that we acknowledge what our pets bring to us. According to scientific studies, they make us healthier. They're good for not only our physical health but our mental health, etc. Just so often they are an expression of unconditional love. So anyway, on the 19th at 10 o'clock, we will have our Blessing of the Animals service. We are reserving the west section of the sanctuary. I'm not sure what to call it, maybe fur-free or pet-free. Anyway, because I acknowledge we may have people within the congregation who may come that Sunday who have allergies to pet dander, etc., or who don't want to be close to an animal of some kind. So we'll reserve that section of the sanctuary where there won't be any animals or pets in that section. Otherwise, bring your favorite pet, and we'll have a meaningful service and a special time of blessing for each animal that comes. If you don't feel comfortable bringing your animal, maybe your animal doesn't want to be around a bunch of people. That happens too. Still, feel free to bring a picture or some representation of your pet, and we will still have a moment of blessing for not only those animals who are here, each one of them, but also for those of you who may just be more comfortable bringing a picture or some representation of your pet. Anyway, it promises to be a fun, meaningful service. So I hope to take that. That's on October 19th, so a week from this Sunday. This Sunday we are we're gonna deal a little bit with Jeremiah. And Jeremiah is talking to the Israelites who find themselves in captivity, in exile, and he writes a very encouraging note, and he tells them to settle in, to make your homes, have your babies, plant your fields, and I've thought about that in terms of how many places I've, as a preacher's kid myself in the United Methodist Church, and then as a pastor in the United Methodist Church, I have lived a lot of places, and when somebody asks me, so Kent, where are you from? I said, well, I'm from a lot of places. I have a couple of towns that I consider what I would consider hometowns. Meade, Kansas, and then we moved from Meade, Kansas when I was the summer after my sophomore year to Johnson, Kansas, And so Meade, because of my age, Meade still holds a very special place in my heart. So I consider Meade, Kansas, home. And just as well, I consider Johnson, Kansas, where I graduated from high school, and then after Trudy and I got married, we moved back out there and lived there for 13, 14, I can't remember now, years. And Johnson is home. And there's there's something to be said about that old cliche, that old adage that says home is where the heart is. And that's kind of a little bit of what I hear in Jeremiah. Home is where your heart is. Be at home. That doesn't mean we aren't drawn back to those places that are meaningful for us, but there's also something to be said about living in the moment and being at home where you are. Titled my sermon, Bloom Where You're Planted. And I think there's something meaningful in there for at least me, and hopefully we might wrestle a little bit with that passage, and maybe we find meaning for all of us in some way about what do we mean when we say we're home, or we long for home, or we are home. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be talking about this Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Of course, in person here in the sanctuary, if you can make that. If you are unable, please join us online. If you wish, you can find the link to our live stream on our webpage. So I hope you can join us one way or the other. Thanks for being here. It's a beautiful day outside. We've been having some beautiful weather. I do understand this weekend is supposed to warm up a little bit, again back up into the mid to maybe upper 80s, but still, 80s isn't bad compared to 100. So anyway, so if you can get outside, get outside. It is a beautiful day, nice and cool in the mornings and the evenings, and it will get warm again before it stays cool and cold when the winter comes. But hope you can get outside today on this beautiful day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And as we always share on times together here at Trinity Heights United Methodist Church, we continue to strive to be a light and to love one another, every single other, until there are no others, only one beloved community of all. May it be so. May it be so. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. Goodbye and God bless.